Hello, Gun Nation. Big Johnson coming at you. All right, let me know if y'all can see me and hear me. 17 will be joining here shortly. He's going to be a little bit late. Kicked it off a minute or so early. So I don't see that we're live yet, but y'all will have to let me know. So if you can see me, let me know. Find out if this thing's working. Yeah, it looks like it is. All right. How's everyone doing this evening? We'll do a really quick roll call. Let's see here. I know that we've got music in here. We've got Art, Ranger, C. Kim. Let's see, Craig, Pistol Pete. Make sure I'm not missing anybody. We'll probably have more coming in too. I did see T.N. Steyer also. Nate Wolf, Art, Cody Fowler, Dennis B. Looks like that's it there. Go back down and catch up here real fast. Like I said, 17 will be joining in a minute. KS is actually out tonight. He will be back next week. Let's see here. And we got Keenan, John Jeffries, Kyle Blackwater, Guy Comet, Dan. Let's see here. I just want to make sure. Pat, hello. All right. I did have a couple of questions. I'll go ahead and answer them real quick before he gets in. Pistol Pete asked me if I am actually working, if I'm back to work, and the answer is no. Unfortunately, I am not. I am still off. Good thing, got some money saved, but, it sucks. And anybody that's in this situation, and it just sucks for everybody. Hey, what's up, Picture Six? But yeah, it's just a bad situation right now. I know that our economy is open in Texas to a percentage, 50% in some areas. As far as the restaurants, some areas only 25%. But hopefully we can get this thing cranking off, get everybody back. Like I said, 17 will be here in a minute, or in a little bit. Hey, what's up, Romans? How are you doing? Let's see here. I had a question I wanted to answer and see if any of y'all have experienced this. I've been asked on my PO7 and PO9 why I run the decockers and not the safety. And just kind of go ahead and give a simple answer. I don't mind safeties at all. It's like a 1911, you can carry it cocked and locked. However, the safeties on the PO7 and the PO9, they're too flat. I mean, if I'm slow, like if I concentrate on it, I can press it down. It just doesn't have enough lip or ledge for my big old thumb. So that's why I prefer the decocker. Could I just go and shoot with it and stuff like that? Yes. And of course, it's an Omega, so you can change them pretty easily. And the safety does give you a little better trigger, not, extreme, but it does give you a little better trigger. But that's the reason I run the decockers. Now, if it had like a full ledge, like a real 1911 or a 2011, I wouldn't mind running the safeties at all. So again, it's your choice, whatever you like to shoot or whatever you like to run. Let's see here. I went shooting with Bald and Curious last weekend and had a blast. Hey, that's awesome, man. Good deal, Dennis B. I'm glad you did that, man. Yeah, Bald's a good guy. Let's see here. And I saw that Music got a Timber Creek slide or Timber Creek frame or Timber Wolf frame. I've never owned one. I've shot one on a Glock, and it actually made it better for me because I like the 1911 type angle better. But whatever you prefer. And then I think it was Art asked, KS is back on the chats. What changed? How did you welcome him back or whatever? He's always been a member of the Three Guys Gun Chat, and that'll never change. He just had other obligations that he was taking care of and couldn't make the Wednesday chats, but he will be back. So, and tonight he got busy, so he will be back. So don't worry about that. Let's see here. 8:13. I was a little late. Let's see here, Cody. I was a little late, so I didn't want to ask Big J because he may have already said it, but is he solo tonight? No, 17 will be on. He was just running late, so he got tied up with some stuff, and he'll get back, or he'll be on. Timberwolf frame, full size. Good deal. Yeah. Oh, we can't make it. Is Wednesday. That's cool. Yeah. Let's see here. Had some other questions. Oh, actually, I wanted y'all's opinion. Out in California, and I think some of y'all live out in California. But what do you think of Newsom, Gavin Newsom, giving illegals $500, of the stimulus package, or that they were given in California? What do you think about him giving out $500 to the illegals? Just curious. Yeah, Art. Yeah, I thought Art was there. So just give me your opinions. You cool with that? You not cool with that? What do you think about it? Just thought I'd throw that up in the chat. California is lost to stupidity. Yeah. Hello, Steve. How are you? How did 308 shoot? Newsom is a dickhead. Yeah, 308 shoots good. Let's see here. I don't care who gets the money. I just want to make sure it's spent in the U.S. Okay. Well, and I mean, it happens here in Texas. Now, we didn't give any stimulus money, but what happens is some of them, get their money or make their money, and then they send it back to Mexico, to their families there. If one or two of them are here working, but the rest of their families back home, that's what they do here. Now, if their whole family's here, then, they could spend it here, but a lot of them send the money elsewhere. We have seen issues with here. So, but yeah, and it's hard to track where that money's going anyway. Now, if, and I guess if you're going to do it and you're meaning it that way, Art, it might be better to give them a card, like just some sort of a card that they have to use it here. That might be an option too, to where it can't be used outside of the U.S. Pistol Pete, it's bullshit. I mean, I agree. I think it's kind of ridiculous personally. Yeah, I know it's a point to get the economy going. I understand that. If it's used here, we don't know. How can we get, well, the last I talked, or, the last I heard, where did it go? Last I heard on Honest, he is, I guess they're trying to work out, some of the other stuff to verify that he's all good and everything. And he is supposed to be coming back on, as far as I've heard. And I actually sent him a link, because he's, was on the chat a lot too. And, I didn't ask him, I just sent him one. So I don't know if he might show up or not. So we'll see. But yeah, I know that that's a screwed up deal, man. I've sent emails, I've done all that stuff, and Instagram, trying to get him back on. So we'll see. But from what I understand, he's supposed to be, or YouTube is supposed to be getting his channel back to him. And they said they have not erased his channel. They've just flipped the switch off, to hold it and make sure everything's okay. Well, my point was, why can't they just flip the switch back on? And that's what I asked YouTube. So, California beer money. Let's see here. Most Americans are probably saving their stimulus money, so I don't think much about the money is going into the economy. And they could very well be. Hello, Rabbi. Let's see here. Big Johnson Gear, the funds are going to be paid by the U.S. dollars, but if the money given away is used elsewhere, the dollar will weaken. That's true. I mean, that is true. That's why, if they can control keeping it in the U.S., that would be a good thing. Hello, Wilden Will Armed. How are you? By raising their prices, I guess. What do you think about giving $7 million to blacks and Latinos by raising their prices? I don't know what you mean by that, Redbird. I guess I didn't hear about that specific thing. Yeah, and I agree with this. Whoops, where did it go? And the questions are flying here. There it is. Big Johnson Guns and Gear. What do you think about Bloom Turd in Texas? Well, I mean, he's everywhere, or his little flunkies are. We're getting a lot of the moms against guns, I guess. A lot of their ads and stuff are trying to go on around here. And I've been seeing a lot of them pop up. You know, like if you're ever on Google and you're looking at something, it'll pop up and say the Texas branch. But I think they're everywhere. So, and he's paying them, of course, to go around and kind of tell crappy stories about, you know, all these false numbers and stuff they're just pulling out. I didn't hear about the Pepsi company, Redbird, so I'm not sure. Not sure on that. Roman's asking, did I get my Savage Precision zeroed in? It's zeroed in pretty well. I mean, I've got it zeroed. I've lowered it and did everything. So I've got it to where I can put up some pretty decent groups. And I'll just be honest with you, I'm not the perfect zeroer guy. I mean, as far as pinpoint, I suck at that. You know, because what I'll do is I'll get it, I mean, pretty much dialed in, and then I'm like, oh, if I move it 2 more, you know, clicks, I can get it just a little more perfect. And then, you know, from there, I'll move it, you know, 3 more clicks to left, and then sometimes I'll get it all messed up again, and I'll have to pull it back. So, you know, it's pretty dang good now. Sometimes on zeroing things, I like to have, you know, I'll look at it, see where I am, and then I'll have another set of eyes look at it just to verify, like a verification. And then sometimes I'll just lock it in, and then I'm good with that. So. Big Johnson Guns and Gear, what happened to those plans? I have noticed the recent videos not focused on pistol platforms. I'm not sure of which plans you're talking about. If you remember back at the first of 2020, I said for me in 2020, it's going to kind of be the year of the rifle. Not that I wasn't going to do pistols anymore, but I was going to focus on more rifles and stuff. I've got a lot of rifles, and I wanted to spend some more time with them. Not that I've gone away from pistols. Got a lot of current pistol videos up, P10C and stuff like that. I've shot the Shadow 2. I even go and shoot, and I really don't even do any videos. I just go to shoot for the fun of it. So a lot of times, like I've already been to the range 2 more times, and I didn't even film any videos. I just went there to shoot, have fun, relax. You know, so didn't even make a video. And a lot of stuff, actually, I think I don't know if I didn't really do a video, but I did throw some stuff up on Instagram. You know, just shooting and having a good time, and you know, some things that I saw at the range. Let's see here. I like watching HR Funk shoot, but I hate his intro music. I don't really know. I'll write down HR Funk. I really don't know who he is or who the channel is, but I'll write it down and check it out. HR Funk. And maybe I've actually seen it. I don't know. Or seen him or her or whomever. Let's see here. HR Funk has a small YouTube channel, but he's LEO. A retired Marine. Honoring oaths. That's cool. Okay. Yeah, I'll check him out. Yeah, I'm really enjoying the 22 bolt rifle. It's a lot of fun. You know what's funny is I've got a bunch of 22s, even antique ones, but they're either semi-automatic or pump. And this is really my first personal. Now I've shot them before, but this is my first personal 22 bolt gun that I've actually bought. So, you know, I thought it was time to have one. So, all right. TN Steyer has a Leopold 7x35x56 is coming. That's cool. Yeah, I've got the Vortex HD AMG, and I'll be putting it on something to come. All right. Let's see here. I wanted to ask, you know, and of course, a lot of y'all have channels and stuff, but just wanted to ask what the funniest comment from a hater that you've ever gotten, or just like a weird comment that you've gotten. And if you want to put it, that's cool. If you don't, that's cool too. But that was one of the questions, because I was asked that question, and I've got a couple of them, but All right. Here we go. Ricky's asking a question. All right. Thoughts on the new Colt Python? Actually waiting on my background check to pick mine up, hopefully tomorrow. Great part. I have 36 in it. Won it in a raffle. Wow, that's awesome. If you got $36 in it, that's pretty incredible. It's really, really good. But yeah, I mean, the Colt Python's cool. I like the old Colt Pythons. I've heard, and I don't know if this is true. I heard on some of the newer Colts, some of them were having some issues. I'm not saying yours is going to, and it could have just been the early ones. They were having a couple little issues with them, but I know that they were getting them fixed up. But no, I mean, I think the Colt Python's a cool revolver. I don't even know if I've ever shot a Colt Python. I've actually seen one. I saw one of the early ones that was had never been shot, had the original box, had all that. So it was a collector piece for sale, and it was a good looking gun. So if you're into revolvers, man, I say get them. Yeah, I've watched Jay Helmsing's before. Yeah, he's a good guy. Oh, tack driver, that's cool. I actually saw a guy I thought was kind of cool over on TikTok, and if y'all do TikTok, I've got a channel over there. I think I've got 100 subs or something over on TikTok. I just went over there so I could start getting to a community over there to start with guns. They don't really like it, but sometimes they'll pull a bunch of my videos down and then I'll just stick them back up. But they're just like 1-minute videos. So if you ever see them on Instagram and stuff, some of those are over on TikTok. I've got some videos with like 190,000 views. So, and I haven't even been on it that long. But, and I've got it set up to where it's supposedly my channel is only 18 or above. And like I said, I'm just trying to spread some 2A information out there. And I figured that would be a platform to do it on. Yeah, I remember Applied Performance said, about the police and stuff. And yeah, I mean, I get all kinds of crazy ones. One of them that I have, if you notice, or if you follow me on Instagram, a lot of the crazy comments that I get on YouTube, I'll actually post them up over on Instagram just so I'll cover up the name sometimes with a little crazy thing just to be nice. Sometimes I don't. But I had a guy the other day, and his exact comment was, "You have over $6,000 worth of guns on that table, so F you." That was the whole comment. Because I had a bunch of pistols out and I was just showing different things. So I guess he really likes me. But let's see here. Let's go through some of these because I think these are funny, man. Oh, okay. Yeah, I just think, man, if we can get more people on our side or to think of guns, and I have a lot of people I have more worse comments on TikTok than I do on YouTube. There are a lot of liberals over there. I mean, gun hating people. So I've turned a couple of them, and I think that's always a good thing. And then some just will never see, they're like, you don't need a gun. There's no reason to have a gun. And I'll always reply back, well, you can't carry a cop under one arm and Chuck Norris under the other arm. So you're the defender of yourself and your family. If you choose not to carry a gun, that's cool. And they're like, you don't need a gun. It's ridiculous. And I'm like, okay, you don't need a spare tire. You don't need an umbrella in case it rains. Trying to relate to other items that they carry that they might not ever need, but it's good to have. So, all right. Here we go. Let's look at Keenan's here. All right, Keenan says, funny comment. A guy said to me on my 43X video, he said, go to the gym, then rack the slide like a man. Funny the way he said it. Man, it's crazy. Everybody's a keyboard commando. They all come out. We've all seen them. Hello, Harry Holster. How are you doing, brother? But what I was going to say over on TikTok, there's a guy, I've never seen his face or anything, but he's got a Savage, and what he does is he's got this really huge tree, I guess, that they cut down. I mean, it's huge. It's like, looks like it's about 6 feet around, or it's probably not that big, but it's sitting sideways like a stump. And he's got it kind of up on a thing, and it's sitting there, and he puts nails. He'll just tap nails in it, like different nails, and then he'll shoot the nail head. And the 22 will actually hit the nail head, and it'll drive the nail all the way in the stump. And then you'll see the splatter because he does the slow-mo on it, and it's pretty damn awesome. And he's done it from like really far away, and I was like, that's pretty impressive. So, all right, here's one. Big J asked me why I carry a gun. I responded, because I can't carry a cop in my pocket. I tried, and he beat the shit out of me. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. We've got to try to, let people know that we're not bad people. And then I've even said, like, why do you, they'll say, why do you carry a gun? And I'm like, there's no reason. And I'm like, okay, what if you're in a restaurant and some bad guys came in to rob the place? It's good to have somebody there, or multiple people there, that can defend themselves and protect not only yourself and your family, but you could save another person's life. And the way that I put it is, if we had to draw a weapon and save our life, you could have been one of the person in the restaurant that was saved. We don't know what a bad guy's going to do. So never a bad thing to have your pistol on you. Yeah. All right. Applied Performance is saying his footage is sped up like T-Rex arms. Get that a bunch. Yeah. I can imagine that. Yeah, Wild and Well Armed. Did anyone see the Alabama Arsenal video of the POF 19? It is like a Glock 19, but built right. Yeah, I did see that. Pretty cool looking pistol. I guess they only offer the 19 type version now, not the 17. But I think it's a cool pistol, and even like the Shadow Systems, if you've watched any of their videos, they've got some pretty cool stuff too. So, I mean, those are just other good offerings. Besides concealed carry class, what else can a person to drill and train? I just made the decision to conceal carry, but I have no experience. Art, I mean, what I would recommend doing, of course, is if you're going to conceal carry, find the holster area that you prefer to carry in, what's comfortable for you. It's going to vary between people. I would totally unload the pistol and, put the ammo in another room or far, far away. You don't want to have anything like that. And then just put the pistol, if you're carrying an appendix, put the pistol in the holster and do a bunch of dry fires, come out of the holster and go to your target or a light switch on the wall, and just practice that with repetition. If you're new to concealed carry, the number one thing that's going to happen is you're going to put your garment over it, and you're going to go out in public, and you're going to start pulling on your shirt. You're going to start adjusting your holster. You're going to start moving the gun around. You want a good gun belt, a really good holster, like Harry's holsters, and you can use my discount code if you want. It's Big Johnson, capital B, capital J, save you 10%. And get a really good gun belt. And I would recommend carrying a spare mag. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, don't. But just once you have your gun on you in the holster and it's covered, then don't touch it. Leave it alone. I mean, I see people walking around all the time, and I'm like, he's carrying a gun, he's carrying a gun, he's carrying a gun, because they're moving them around and they're playing with them, and just don't touch it. So, and yes, Harry's is bringing up a good point. The belt is a huge thing people don't think about. People just think a regular dress belt, like a thin dress belt, is going to carry a gun well. It's not. The holster is going to rotate on that thin belt. Get a gun belt. Like a double alpha gear. They make not double alpha, blue alpha gear. They make really great belts. $30 gun belt, if they are still around, I don't know. Brown Coat Tactical makes really good gun belts. I like his a lot too. So, I mean, there's a lot of options out there. Just find something you're comfortable with and wear it every day, and just practice with it. Just, be used to it. Pretty soon, when you don't have your gun on you, you will know something's missing. I carry a gun every day. Even if I'm walking around the house or out in the yard, I have a gun on me. So it becomes part of you, and you know something's missing when you don't have it on you. So yeah, and if you have to adjust it, I mean, adjust it. Like if I'm in the truck and I need to move it a little bit, I'll just do it while I'm in there. But when I'm walking around, I don't really play with my gun or touch it because I've got a good, and the core belt is a really great belt too. I've got two of those, and I really do like them. But once you find your spot, like I know the exact spot that I carry my gun in all the time. So if it moves a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right, I know that it's out of its space. So that's just me. And everybody is going to differ. Nate Wood is let's see here. Nate Wolf is asking, do I ever use a range belt? Yes, I've got a blue Alpha Gear. It is it has an inner belt and an outer belt. It's I call it like a battle belt. I really love their belts. It's the camo. It's all tricked out. It's got all my, goodies on it. And I'm not a tactical person, but I really do prefer it. And then I have a race belt, and it is a double Alpha Gear race belt for competition. And they make really good quality belts. But don't cheap out on it. Don't go to eBay and just buy some cheap thing because I've learned over the times, buy a good quality belt, invest in it, and it's buy once, cry once. And they're really not that expensive when you get good quality. So get something that you're going to enjoy for years and years. Yeah, I mean, this is same, just like if I put my wallet in the opposite pocket, I can tell, if the gun moves. Yeah, I mean, there's little things like that. Like what's funny is I carry a knife every day, some sort of knife, pocket knife. And one time it popped out when I was pulling my keys out, and I went to sit down, and I was like, something's missing. It didn't feel right. So I felt in my pocket, my knife wasn't there, and I looked out, and it had fallen in the floorboard. Or I guess when I pulled my keys out, it had popped into the floorboard. So just know something's wrong when you don't have it. Yeah, and this is going to be the situation. I can't carry my gun at work, but if carries it when he's in town. So I mean, do what you can do. I'm not asking you to be a bad guy. Hello, here he is. Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you? Can't hear me?
Good. Oh. Good. Yes, sir. I can.
Okay. All right. I'm doing great. How are things going with you?
Hey, good. No, man, just living the dream, and yeah.
Yep.
Look, Bald and Curious is talking about. Yeah, KS isn't going to make it tonight. He'll be on next week. So I had a couple people already asking. Yeah, and like Kathleen's saying, she carries in her purse. I mean, a lot of ladies do that. So whatever works for you. It was one of the things that I had, and a lot of people answer it. But what's the funniest? And I know we get them all the time, or weird comments that that people like. What's the weirdest one you've gotten that you can kind of just think of?
I used to get comments from somebody. I can't remember his name because I had to block him. But he kept he would say, he'd go on this long rant about how I was a government stool pigeon and all this shit. And I'm like, I have no idea what this guy's talking about. But then he'd talk about all of this communist manifesto, and I'm a communist. And so I was like, okay. I mean, it was just weird. It was like reading a manifesto of a psychopath every time he writes something. He was nuts. He was totally nuts.
Yeah. So. And it's good to get, I enjoy the longer comments when it's, either if they're trying to prove their point, but when they get into this, or it's like a major run-on sentence where it's got 19 different things in one sentence, or in one whole sentence. There's no periods, there's no breakup. And it's kind of like they're just going off on you for every single thing that they don't like about the gun world or whatever. Some of those will wear you out.
Some people are just not happy people,
No, like I said this before, I mean, they just wake up, with, they're just mad at the world. So they want to take it out on everybody.
That's right.
That's one thing I've always said, man, surround yourself with positive people, because, negative people are just poison. And I mean, they're just going to bring everybody down.
And they steal your soul.
Yeah. Yeah, and
And then
well,
you know what though? You know what's interesting though is like sometimes you find, and this is something I've noticed in YouTube. Like sometimes you find guys who pretend to be like this super upbeat, great personality type of thing, and then you get to know them a little bit better, and you realize, something's a little shady about this individual, and then it's so funny to watch the personalities versus the reality of people on YouTube, and I think that's what's always kind of stuck in my craw a little bit, you know?
yeah, and I've always wondered that about some people, or like in their videos, do they act that way like personally? And I know, I've met a bunch of, people on YouTube personally, and
Mhm.
some of them are, mostly just exactly like they are on YouTube. They
Yeah.
don't change, to be a persona that they're not. But you just
Right.
wonder, if there's like if you met that person, if they would just be like totally different. If it's like, man, or just totally fronting, like, I'm a gun guy, and then they're really not.
Yeah.
It's just like they just review crap just to review crap.
Yep.
But
Yep. That is some of them. And we know some of those people.
oh yeah, yeah, no, I'm talking about some of them that you and I know.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, and I will say this: Bald and Curious is the same asshole on YouTube that he is in real life.
He's just an
No,
all
he's
around
actually
asshole.
he's actually a really good guy. He's funny. You know what's funny is the very first time I met him, it was almost like I've known him for 15 years. You know, as a matter of fact, I remember the first thing I said to him the very first time I met him. He was walking up, and I said, "What's up, MFer?" Joking around with him.
Mhm.
Um, because I mean, it's just kind of like always known him. Yeah, and X Ring's a good guy too. Hello, X Ring. Glad you're on, sir. Let's see here. Yeah, and Ranger's got a good point too. Well, where did he go here? Yeah, he's saying, do the dickwads wake up and say, I'm going to, mess with the gun tuber today? Yeah, I
Pretty
think
much.
they are. And that's kind of like we get the anti-gunner people that, come after you, and I'm going to report you, and I'm going to do this,
Yeah.
and I'm going to do that.
And that's sort of the weird thing. Like I've never had that. I've never had the experience of somebody being an anti-gun person bothering me. I've had people who obviously criticize my hands. Some people get like really personal, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And they only do it on a keyboard because if you met me in real life, the likelihood of you talking that kind of shit would probably not happen.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm the world's biggest guy, but I'm not a small guy either.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling like reality is reality, and some people need a reality check. But I get a lot of things about the hands. Sometimes I get it about I have no idea what I'm talking about, which in some cases is true. But I
Yeah.
do admit that on my videos. I'll tell them I have no idea because I don't, but it's, who cares? At the end of the day, what are you really doing this for? I still say, for me, I don't make a hell of a lot of money on YouTube, and I don't really care. But I do like having feedback, and I like hearing what people have to say and what their experiences are, and just showing stuff. To me,
Yeah.
that's why I'm here still.
Yeah, same here. I mean, I'm not trying to get like a million subs. I mean, I don't do any editing. I don't put in the hard work. And like Josh did a good video, and he was like, how do people grow so quickly on YouTube? Or I can't remember exactly how he stated it, but he was basically, or that's it. He was stating, because I guess he gets a lot of people say, man, I do YouTube and I don't get any subs, or I don't grow. Really, if you put in a ton of effort, and you do good quality and you do good editing and you do all of this, you're probably going to grow. And if you have some sort of, structural, process or something like that. But for me, I just kind of throw up real life stuff. I don't really do any, second takes and all that kind of stuff. I just try to keep it real world, and I can appreciate the really well done videos, and then I can appreciate just kind of throwing something together too. So
Yeah.
I feel that you are what you make out of it. And gosh, I think I'm about to hit 12,000 subscribers. I mean, I don't even really watch my counts. It is what
Mhm.
it is. But if I put forth the effort, I think I could really grow. But what do you think about that?
I mean, I edit, and I do a lot of, the post editing, and initially it was a lot of time because I didn't know how to do any of that stuff.
Yeah.
And then I did a lot of research, because I am one of those guys, like a cerebral, do too much research to know what works best for me and my limitations. And so I found an editing program that is, it's like editing program for idiots, the voice work fits into the editing too. So, I have the white dildo mics that everybody loves. But that took time. I mean, it wasn't like, I remember when my first video set up, I had an action camera and a $5 lapel mic, and I just invested a little bit into the channel. And then I know I'm never going to be huge, and that's fine. Like, I don't care. I'm excited to just have new stuff, show new stuff, and get feedback on that new stuff. Like, that's what excites me still about this. I mean, there are people who try to incorporate themselves, and that's fine. If that's what you want to do, great. I hope you have a lot of success. The one thing that I don't like, though, is when the egos take control, and when you have channels that pat themselves on the back because, well, look at me, I've done this because now these people have grown. Or you have the big giant community circle jerk, and you know what I'm talking about with that.
Oh, yeah.
Where everybody fucking scratches each other's backs, and you're kind of the outcast. And that's always why I have said this is not a real gun culture. This is gun community, because you have your little cliques here and there, and that's fine. I don't want to be a part of that clique. I like what I do. If people don't like it, tough shit. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, and cliques are everywhere. I mean, it could be at your job. It could be, just, in high school, elementary school, that stuff's never going to go away. So you're going to have that. I just, I respect people until they disrespect me. That's basically how I look at it. I'll be the nicest guy in the world until I don't have to be. Here's a question, and you've got some input on this. Big J, have you shot any Canik 9mm? I want to try the subcompact that came out last October. What do you think?
I had the TP9 SF Elite. I had the SFX. The Elite was a decent gun. It didn't work for me because I had some problems with it, and then I had some problems getting it back. So that kind of just left a bad taste with me. And honestly, I don't think the Elite, I mean, yes, it's got a great trigger, but there's something about the back end of that polymer that is too wide. It's very, very PPQ-esque, I guess you could say. It just feels a little too chunky. And then again, I just put my hands on that MR920 today. I'm going to tell everybody right now, I haven't shot it. Probably won't see it for about a fucking year. But I'm going to tell you right now, my Glocks are permanently gone. That to me is everything Glock should be, period. But, that's how I look at things.
Yeah. And I mean, I had the original Canik, with the push button on the top. I can't remember what number that was. It was the very first one that came out, the full size one.
Probably SF.
SF. Yeah. It was a good gun, shot very well. Didn't have any issues with it. I didn't like that stupid decocker on the top, but it worked. Never failed to work. I just think for myself, there's better options out there, but in the price point, especially what they're going for now, as long as the gun runs reliably, I don't think there's really an issue with it. If that's what you like and that's your price point, I don't really think you can go wrong with it. I know they're having a lot better luck. You don't really hear of any of those weird things like what you went through.
It's funny you say that. I had somebody reach out to me on the guide rod video I had made when I first had initial issues with it, and they said to me that when they got their gun shipped to them, it had the old guide rod, and they called them and they sent it out to them. So I don't know. It could have been like just a fluke thing, but I just personally wouldn't go back to them. Like you said, there's better options. I mean, the price point is really good, but consider the APX. The APX is also a very good price point, and honestly, that gun to me is a lot better, although the trigger's not. But I think the gun overall is better than the Canik or Yannick or whatever you call it.
Yeah, and some of those, now some of them they're making, better sights for them and different options where you can change them. Back when I had mine, you couldn't change them and stuff. I know now you can. So there's some aftermarket stuff. They're offering more things for them. But this is actually kind of an interesting question. What are the cheapest competitions to join? And that's what makes the grass grow greener. You've got indoor IDPA, you've got USPSA. You don't have to join USPSA to go shoot a USPSA match. It's usually like 20 or 30 bucks. It's some depending on what places you go to, but you could just take your regular gun out there and a regular mag pouch and have fun. You don't have to have all the racing gear and all that stuff. Just go out there and have a good time, man. There's, good camaraderie out there. People are usually very genuine and very nice. You'll have some guys that are, they're really good, some of them, and they're a little arrogant, and that you can have some clicks in that too. But for the most part, when I've gone, everybody's been really nice. So, I just say go out there and have a good time, just be yourself and do what you want to do. You don't have to go out there and try to be the best guy out there. Sorry?
I said, I agree.
Yeah, just go out there and have a good time, man. Rabbi is saying you're a Beretta shill.
Absolutely, 100%.
So you still have your Glocks, right? Because Kathleen's asking if you.
Yeah, I have a Gen 4 19, the Battlefield Green, but I'll be honest with you, I'm going to probably sell it and then save up some extra cash, and I might actually get another one of those, and I might get an Elite. I got a Combat now because I didn't think the extra $100 was worth the lightning cuts. I mean, I could be wrong, but they did and again, I haven't shot the gun, so it could shoot like shit, but I doubt it. But just holding the gun, it's much more ergonomic, which I don't have to even say that because it is a Glock versus something else. But just some of the things they did to the lower portion of the frame there, just to cut out for the thumb and all that stuff that you'd have to pay extra for. And some people would say that it's basically a Gucci Glock, but it's not, because the price isn't a Gucci Glock price. And I think they hit a home run. And I think the plate, or the lack of a plate, and able to mount any optic or any of the bigger optics, that's phenomenal. That's such a smart thing for them to have done. So I don't know when I'm going to get that gun, because as I posted, the judges are working, but they're not signing anything because it's not essential, which is bullshit. Yeah. So it's unfortunate. It's going to be a while. And the FD, by the way, looks amazing.
Yeah, I think the Shadow Systems gun, like you got, I think they're really nice, and I've done, some homework on them. And the cool thing about them is the back straps. It comes with, they call it an upper back strap, a neutral, and then a downward. So, if you're used to shooting a Glock, you can kind of put the Glock back strap on it. If you're kind of used to shooting a 1911, you can put the back strap. So, and they say to just put it. They say to put it on, just to put it on loosely, not pin it. And then just, close your eyes and go to a light switch, and whichever one you're on with straight out of the holster, that's the one you should use. And I mean, it's a really nice gun. I think you'll really enjoy it. And plus the price point for everything you get is really not bad at all.
Right. And that's the thing you got to think about. So you've got a custom lower. It's got the undercut. The stippling is perfect on there, by the way. The beaver tail seems pretty good. It comes with front night sight, blacked out rear. It comes with that universal mounting option on the gun. What seems like a decent trigger. I don't think it's great yet, but I've heard you have to shoot it to really get it to break in well. It felt a little mushy. Nothing, I wouldn't say as bad as a Glock, but nothing to write home about. And I think for the price, I think you're getting what you would pay after the fact of buying your Glock. Because Glock prices don't fluctuate. They stay pretty firm, about $500 to $550. Yeah. And now you have a gun that's about $300 more, which sounds like a lot, but you're going to be putting in probably a trigger job, probably night sights, maybe getting some customization with stippling and the undercut and all that other shit. And that's going to wind up totaling more than the Shadow Systems firearm.
Yeah, and they say
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but Kathleen's saying Glock internals. Yes, it's Gen 3 Glock internals.
Yeah. They say that it's a 4-pound trigger. I guess probably it's even better once it's broke in, but they say 4 pounds, but they intentionally left a little bit of the over travel and stuff in it just for the safety aspect of it. But I've felt the trigger and I've pulled it and stuff, and out of the box without it being shot, it's really not bad. It's actually, it's way better than a stock Glock for sure.
Yeah, it does. It resembles a feel almost of an Apex. But I would say that and I hate to say it, but it doesn't have that extra mushiness in the Apex take-up, because on the Glock triggers especially, you always feel just a little bit more sponginess right before it breaks. On this one, it was pretty clean. So in my opinion, this is probably the most excited I've been on a striker fired polymer gun in a while, just because of everything that came with it, the way it felt in my hand, the way it looks, it's a phenomenal looking handgun. So I'm really excited to get it. But by the time I get it, it'll be like an M9 or an MR 950. So who knows?
Yeah. Let's see. Pistol Pete is asking, has anyone picked up the M&P Core yet, or 2.0 Core? And I'm sure he's probably talking about the Optic Ready.
Yeah, MD Polo has.
Yeah, I was going to say I haven't seen the. Now I had the old Core, the 1.0 with the Optic Ready, and it was a great gun. The 2.0 is offering that steel reinforcement in the front, of course, the stippling and stuff like that, and a little better trigger. But I changed my 1.0 out anyway. But M&Ps are great guns, man. A lot of people kind of forget about them, but the price points on them and stuff aren't bad. Heck, I've already seen, I think it was the new 2.0 with some kind of a coin. It comes with a coin, and I want to say
that's I forget what it's called, but it's just a 2.0. It's like I forget what it's called, but it comes with a coin on it and stuff. It's kind of I don't know. It's kind of hokey in my opinion, man.
But it was only like $4.99 or something. I mean, it was not a bad price. Speaking of that, have you seen the price on the FN 509, just the regular one, not the tactical, but have you seen the price on those now?
No.
The stock ones? Grab a Gun has them for $479.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
Used to be $600.
Yeah. They're having them on sale. So they must have probably had a lot of them that were left over or something like that. So,
yeah, well, you got to think about also they're probably losing money left and right because nobody's buying anything.
Yeah, that's probably true.
I bought that damn gun before it broke out. So
man, these questions are flying by here. Here it is right here. It's actually a good question. It's from What Makes the Grass Grow Greener. I want a steel frame pistol that holds 15 plus rounds of 9mm. What would you recommend? And I already know the answer, but what would you recommend?
Steel frame pistol with 15 rounds or more. Well, that's kind of an easy one because I know what you're going to say, but I'd go with an SP01 tactical.
Well, I mean, your PO1 is alloy frame, and it holds.
That is true, right? But he's saying steel frame, so that's why I would do the tac. Because
some people, alloy is considered a steel, so I figured that you would say PO1 right off the bat. And the SPO1 holds more than 15, but still, what am I going to say?
What would you say? It's got to be a CZ. You're probably saying the Shadow 2.
Well, it holds more than 15, but yeah, I would say the Shadow, but it also depends on if he wants a compact, if he wants a full size, I mean, there's a lot of variables there too. If he just wants a home defense gun, I mean, it depends on what you're going to use it for, but I mean, there's a lot of great options out there, depending on what you want. Let's see here. Yeah, some people are saying SPO1 tactical, competition or carry. Some people are asking that. He just wants it for training. Or no, just for carry and training.
Carry and training. I'd go with P01.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if I don't really know why it has to be steel unless he just wants the extra weight. But I mean, I still like over the SPO1 tactical. I still prefer the Shadow 2, just because it has the little bit better trigger, and it's not a whole bunch more. But he wouldn't carry I mean, I wouldn't want to carry the Shadow 2. Right. So in that case, and he probably has normal hands, I would recommend the PO1 because and some people are like Applied saying the Walther Q4 SF, but you look at the price on that thing, it's not cheap. So
that's a pretty expensive handgun. They're nice. I would love to get my hands on one, but I don't know. I don't know if that's something I'd want to spend the money on. I mean, I honestly, if I was going to spend the money on something like that, I would actually just go with that lower and get a SIG and do the Icarus Precision lower, because you're getting aluminum with a full size gun that is, in my opinion, still carryable. But there's options. You just got to look, man. Just got to look around.
And it's really going to depend on what fits your hand the best, which, angle. I mean, there's a lot of variables there. That's the thing when people say, I want this, or this is exactly what I want. I mean, in that same category, there could be 6 guns, and they're going to say, which one's the best? Which one would you buy? Well, my hands are not your hands. The thing I like, you might not like. I mean, I would always recommend Grass is Greener going to your local gun range and maybe renting some, if they have a PO1, if they have these other steel frames, rent them and shoot them and see which one you like the best before you do the purchase. And then,
Right.
there you go. Yeah. And Volunteers is saying the Wilson EDC, the Wilson EDC, I mean, that is a very nice pistol. But, some people, I mean, in that price point, they wouldn't be able to afford it. And also it's a 1911, which some people are not used to flipping a safety off and on and a single action trigger. So it depends on what you want, what you're comfortable with. Let's see here. Oh, also, and I asked this question to the audience earlier. What is your feeling with California Newsom giving the illegals $500? Giving all the.
I mean, I'm not surprised. I think it's kind of funny because I'm not going to, whatever. Let them do whatever they want. I don't live in California. I can only worry about New York, and we're a train wreck also. But at the same time, I always laugh about everybody who bitches and moans about the government giving money to people, but then they get their money from the government. They don't say a word. So all those stimulus checks that went out, I didn't get anything. I got zero because according to the bottom line, I make too much money. Yeah. So I wound up literally getting, I think, something like $36. And yet I'm sitting hearing all these people saying, oh, the government, this and that. Thank you for my check. So it's like, you can't have it both ways, guys. So you're either not for the government or you are. But it shouldn't be, well, I'm for the government because they just gave me money, or I'm not for the government, but in the backside, I'm going to take the money anyway. Like, to me, that's just bullshit. And I think what's even more sickening is that, they gave the money out to people who have never worked before, who don't work. And you know what? I don't feel sorry for me earning money. I don't. You know what? I'm not rich, and I've worked my ass off my entire life. Nothing was handed to me. And I love how people then try to play this, well, you make too much money, so you shouldn't get anything. Well, time out. I make a lot of money because I kill myself to make a lot of money. I work 12, 14-hour days. And in my old job, I literally shaved years off my life doing that shit and made no money. Yeah. So I don't want to hear anybody complaining anymore. I don't want to hear anybody talking about the government is bad, but then they're taking checks. You know what? I get a laugh at all these people who talk this kind of trash. And yet they don't tell you they work for the government. And they don't tell you that most of the funding that they get from their job comes from your tax dollars. Yeah. So it's such bullshit. And in my opinion, I don't care. You know what? I didn't get shit, and I'm not getting anything. And I'm okay with that. I just am not okay with the fact that people who haven't worked are getting it. And you know what? My food bill has increased. All my bills have gone up. Yeah. And yet thank God I'm still working and getting paid. But I don't feel sorry for still working. I don't feel sorry for making decent money because I've killed myself to do it. I've worked very hard to do it, and I have absolutely no apologies to anyone for it. So that's just my rant for tonight.
Yeah, well, and even myself, I'm still not working because we're not essential or our product. So, but it is what it is, and I mean, luckily I'm not poor, and I mean, I've even helped out some people, and I don't even have a job, so helped out some friends. So, because that's what we got to do. We got to stick together. But, as far as just handing out money to, like illegals and stuff, and the way that I look at it, here's the way I look at it, and that's why I put this comment up here with Indie Irish. Technically, you are getting your money back from the government on the stimulus. It's not, they're not writing you, like, here you go. I mean,
right.
So it's your money. However, if you don't pay taxes, if you don't pay into the taxes, you shouldn't get shit.
Right.
Period.
Right.
I don't care who you are. You don't pay, you don't get nothing. And
I agree.
I'm in the same situation you are. If you make too much money or whatever, you're not going to get this and you're not going to get that.
Right. And I think that's the crazy part of it is even with the new one, and I know we're not really talking guns, guys, sorry. But even in the new stimulus bill that is hopefully dead on arrival, they were talking about increasing it and then increasing the child portion of that. So I have 2 kids, and I have to feed them. But again, I'm fortunate because I'm still getting paid to work, and I'm working. I'm not sitting around with my thumb on my ass. I'm actually working, and I'm okay with that. I have no problem with working hard. But I think what, like you said, is the fact that if you don't pay into the system, why should we help you? But again, you're going to have the opposite end of that argument saying that, well, if we don't help them, then they're going to be a bigger burden on the rest of us who are working, I guess you could
Yeah.
say. But
Well,
you know,
and one quick thing to wrap this up. Like the basketball, what team was that? Was it the Lakers? I can't remember, where they applied for the small business loan and they got like $50 million or some crazy crap. And then they were like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll return it. I mean, shit like that's crazy. So, I mean, it going to like these.
Yeah, a bunch of the companies, these large corporations applied, and they all got approval.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can say what you want about Trump, but Trump ain't he's no friend of the working man either at this point.
Well,
so
he doesn't control everything. There's ways to manipulate a system. I don't know if you heard about this,
sure,
but
you gotta read the fucking bill before it's signed, and then as the president, you do have control. It's called a veto.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't like it, he likes to do his fucking veto it, and then let him get 2/3 vote, which they're never going to get.
Yeah, but
so I mean, he's full of shit too. They're all full of shit. Big John.
There was also people who beat the system. That one guy, I don't know if you heard about it, but he, claimed all these small business companies that he owned and filled out all that fake stuff. And what did he get, like $5 million or something? And just kept it. He didn't even have, so, I mean, there's people like that are all around. So it is what it is. But,
so no more politics. People are getting mad.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, we are getting close. Is there anything that, I know you came in a little late because you were busy, but anything else that, has been going on other than, your new pistol, anything else that's piquing your interest or anything like that?
I'm just, it's hard because there's so many guns I haven't even shot yet. I still haven't shot the P365, but I will tell you that it's probably going to be sold. I have a buddy of mine who wants to buy it, so I'm going to probably sell it because I've been handling that gun a lot and I don't like it. I just don't. I mean, it might shoot like a gem, but I just think that gun overall is too small. It's just not for me. It's not my cup of tea, but that's on another side note. I still haven't shot the 320X compact with the optic on it. Haven't shot the Icarus Precision Lower, which blows my mind because I really want to get it behind that. I haven't shot the fucking Marlin. I mean, I'm going insane. I'm going insane with this stuff. So
I could hear that. Yeah. I mean, thank gosh eyes are open. This is actually, kind of, we'll answer this quickly. How many people do you personally know that have gotten COVID? Do you personally know?
I know 4 people who got it.
Okay. I only know one. It's my dad's neighbor. I know him, and he got it because he went to Boston for his daughter and husband moved there, or her husband, for work. So he went to see their new place and all that. So he was flying back and forth. He doesn't know if he got it, in the airport or on the plane or what. But, and he was sick for like, fever and stuff for like 4 or 5 days, and then, came out of it fine. So, Uncle Dan thinks he got it. I talked to him and he was having some fever and stuff really bad for like 4 or 5 days. But other than that, those were really the only 2, cases, and only one of those was truly confirmed. So I don't know, man.
Yeah. I know somebody right now who had it, recovered, and then they just got tested again and has it again. So I think that's what freaks me out the most is that it doesn't seem like there's any norm for this virus. You got some people who have it, you'll never know. Some people who are super healthy, they get it and they drop dead. So it's kind of freaky. I mean, New York is starting to slowly open up again, which is nice. But there's so many things out there right now that are still screwed up that people aren't even talking about. Like, if you have young kids, they just released the guidelines for sports. And I don't know about any of you guys out there, but my kids are very active in sports. And, my son's a big time lacrosse player, at least I think so. But now they're saying that's a high risk contact sport. Yeah. So they're talking not reopening any of those seasons until they have some either a vaccine or something to treat it with. And here I've got a freshman in high school next year, and his 9th, 10th, and 11th grade are his most important seasons. And you have kids who are now in 10th and 11th grade who aren't even going to have that. And then that's now stopping them from having an opportunity to maybe get recruited to a college or whatever it might be. So there's a lot of open questions that have never been answered. And that's why I'm kind of hard on our president, because I don't really feel like there's a lot of leadership going around anywhere at this point. And, you look at one thing, it's one answer, then the other, it's a whole nother answer. So I've come to the conclusion that the only thing you can do, reopen everything. And I hate to say it because I've got parents and grandparents and in-laws and everything else. honestly, I have to say, I think you reopen everything and whoever dies, dies. I know that's fucked up, but I don't know how else this is going to work out.
Well, see, and here's the thing that, like you were talking about Trump and stuff. I don't know a perfect scenario that any, whether it be Trump or whoever's in office at that time, or I don't know the perfect way to have handled it. I think he did very well of shutting down the borders and things like that. Where some people were like, "Oh, come to Chinatown, it's good," and all this, and he's like,
yeah.
"Oh,
that's what they were doing in New York City."
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm talking about.
Fine, just go out.
Yeah, people are like, no. So he shut that down. So I mean, I got to give him, kudos on that. Is everything perfect? I think ultimately he can't be everywhere, so it's up to each individual governor. That's the way I look at it. The governors run their states the way they see fit, and some areas weren't hit. I mean, gosh, look at Arkansas. They really never even shut down, and they didn't have any, raising and stuff like this, like other areas did, and they're in our own United States. So I just think that it should really be up to the governors to handle their own states. Nobody should tell them how to handle it. But as far as building up an immunity, you cannot live in your house 24/7 and expect to come out of it normal, and that's one thing that I'm hoping for myself. I travel all the time. I meet people, shake their hands, touch different doorknobs, and of course I wash my hands. But, traveling so much and being in all these different areas, I almost hope that I've built up some sort of immunity, maybe I have.
That's the thing. I don't even know if you would know. I mean, at this point,
I wouldn't. That's
the tricky part of the whole thing, and like I said, there's no, at first they said it was just elderly, and then, and then all of a sudden you see like 20-year-olds dying. And then they said, well, now it's 40 to whatever. And then now you have kids dying. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I know there are people out there who talk conspiracy theories. Maybe. Do I think this was created in a lab? 100% I believe that. I believe this is a Chinese virus that was created by them on purpose. Maybe not to eliminate people around the world, but definitely in their own country to control that population. But I don't have proof of it, obviously, but that's what I believe.
But to end this whole thing, because we are gun people, but to end this whole thing, here's the way that I look at it, and I'll say it out loud, and you can say, yes, Big Johnson said it, but I'm not going to live in freaking fear. I'm not. I'm going to do my shit. If I get sick, I get sick. I'll come through it, whatever happens. But this being cooped up and people telling me what to do and all this other shit, that's not going to fly for me. If other states want to do it, that's cool. If you're in that situation, go for it. But F this. I'm out. I'm done. So that's the way I feel about it. And that might be selfish of me. I've got older parents and stuff like that too, but I can't live in fear. So,
but I do want to say on a side note, do not vote for Joe Biden.
He doesn't. He's running for Senate, and he's just waiting to yell bingo. So that's all he knows.
Yeah, I know.
So
I know. He still thinks we're fighting the Spanish flu. So
Yeah. No, that's.
We are in some very strange times, my friend. Some very strange.
Now, do you have any idea when your gun range? Have they even said anything? Like, hey,
no. Well, they have the guidelines. So right now there are several counties or several regions in New York State that have passed through phase 1. So there's 7 criteria you have to pass. Wow. So the Hudson Valley, where I live, has 5 of the 7 till we can get into phase 1, which is basically construction, some basic stuff. And then you have to do other things to get into phase 2. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't make sense, I guess. I don't know. I have no idea how this is going to work out. I know that, some people mention we need to take care of people. You're absolutely right. We all have loved ones that could absolutely die from this, but at the same time, we also have to think about what are the ramifications if we don't reopen, and what is that going to strain on the younger relatives that we have? If we keep giving out free money, it's going to come from somewhere. And I don't know. I mean, it's, look, if I had all the answers, I'd be running for president, but I don't.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, there's no perfect scenario. I mean, I'm going to try to go to the range tomorrow. One thing I did, and I posted it on Instagram, if anybody's following, I think it was kind of cool. I took a black holster that I have, and I've never done this before. I've painted guns, I've done camo guns before and stuff like that, rifles, but I've never done a holster. So I have this holster. And I did this. I don't know if you can see it, but it's kind of like a marbleized FDE and camo and stuff. And I kind of did the back. But anyway, hung it up, did it. So I'm going to see how it wears. I'm going to beat the crap out of it, hammer it, do everything on the belt, and take a bunch of draws from it, see if it peels off like nothing, or if it lasts. We'll see. I don't know, but I kind of don't want to be a battle worn. That's kind of what it came out. So I thought I did pretty good for, I guess I can go like be a tagger and start, using my spray paint or something on the walls, but wanted to do something a little different.
So the other thing I was going to say really quick was I went to my local gun shop because he's not open, but he's open. So we were kind of bullshitting, and we were talking about the fact that, essentially, at least where I live, they've shut down our ability to get firearms, like handguns. We can't get them because nobody's signing for them. So he reached out to some bigwig in one of the local political gun arenas in our area. And they were saying that they don't even know if they would have enough to be able to sue over it right now. And I'm saying, but that doesn't make sense because the judges are working, but they're not fulfilling their obligations to do that other portion of their job. So once again, this is, again, what, you guys always knock New York, but I'm telling you, this is coming to a theater near you guys at some point, because any chance they get to take away your right for guns, they are going to do it every time, period.
Yeah. God, I hate to do this, but what do you think about this question? Getting rid of the Electoral College.
Bad mistake.
Very
New York is a perfect example of that. So just so you guys know, about 85% of the population in New York lives in New York City.
Yep.
So if you got rid of the Electoral College and went for popular vote, well, I don't know. I know Romans has kind of got a different political view than I do, and that's fine. I respect that. I would never go for that ever, because New York is a good example of what happens when you go with only popular vote like that. Yeah. We can't win. The outlying counties don't have enough population, so we keep getting our rights infringed because of, well, New York City, Rochester, Buffalo, those areas that are much more popular.
Well, think about California, right. Texas. I mean, you've got, the ones that have all of the higher electoral votes. That's the one who's going to get it. And that's why they put that in there, is for that exact reason. So, I mean, if you're wanting, the popular or, any of that kind of stuff, I mean, it just keeps it fair across the board. So, and also the little guys out in the outskirts, they wouldn't have any play at all. I mean, they would, whatever they went in, they would waste their time, and most of them probably wouldn't even vote. So,
right. And it's funny, if you look at the last governor race in New York State, or even the last presidential race in New York State, what you'll find is that the state, everything is red, with the exception of all the large urban areas, and that's where the heaviest populations are. So even though all the outlying regions in New York are red, we're always a blue state because of that.
Yeah.
So no, I could never get rid of that.
Yeah, because New York, Cali, Chicago, I mean, it would be done. So, but anything that you have, I mean, I know you can't go shoot and stuff. Anything you have coming up that
it's hard because it's I've been doing a lot of waste of time videos because I don't have anything to show right now. It's slow going right now. And it's funny because, I've been reaching out to some gun companies. I'm going to be hopefully getting a 1911 soon from one of them, although many of you may not like the company, but I don't really care because, like I said, I'm not a 1911 guy. And if I can start getting more experiences with those, I'm better for it, in my opinion. But, I explained to them the situation in New York, and they said, no problem, we'll work with you. So that's cool. But like I said, I don't know what the schedule is. I don't know when this is going to change, and it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. So,
yeah, and right now, I mean, we're all kind of in the same situation. I've got some reviews coming up of stuff that I've been doing, and just kind of nothing major, but like you said, just stuff I've been having fun with. And like I said, I don't really have to have an agenda or a particular thing. I've got plenty of things that I can talk about, but. Yeah, that's what I've got coming up. But I think, the 1911 will be fun for you to get into. And, I know you don't have a lot of experience with it, but I think they're great guns. If you've got one that runs reliably and functions correctly and, everything,
right.
I mean.
I've done the two videos. I had the Rock Island Armory, which was pretty decent. I mean, there were some hangups there. The Springfield, the EMP was really nice. And so this one is going to be a Springfield. It's going to be a Springfield Ronin. So it's, I think, a 5-inch barrel. And so it's a pretty hefty, it's all steel. So it's a big, heavy gun. But like I said, I'm not a 1911 guy, and I don't think Dan Wesson is going to send me one to review. So you know, I'll take it. It's not going to be mine. I know everybody thinks it is, but it's not. It goes back to them. And if I start to get into 1911s, I may actually buy one at some point.
Yeah. Well, the 5-inch one is a good one. You know, you got plenty of length of barrel. You got plenty of weight there. I mean, that'll be a good one to shoot and have fun with. See what you think about it.
So, yeah. So, you know, they may have 3011s by the time I get that one.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's just, like I said, it's slow going. We don't really know what the status is. You know, I'm just shocked that judges are not doing their jobs. Well, then again, I shouldn't be shocked.
Well, they're gonna definitely put that situation on the back burner there. So, and that sucks. You know, I wish you could get the thing a lot quicker. You know, that I hate the delay for you because that's asinine. But whatever. You know,
I agree.
You've got your.
I was hopeful my guy would say, you know what, just take it with you. But then he'd lose his license, so that didn't happen.
No, you don't want to do anything illegal.
No.
So, well, I definitely want to. I thank everyone out there for watching. You know, it really means a lot. You know, if you have any questions, leave them after the chat. We'll be glad to answer them. If you haven't subbed everybody out there, please do. You know, like I said, we want to keep it. You know, we appreciate y'all spending the Wednesday night with us. This is a big deal. We appreciate y'all very much. You know, leave the thumbs up if you want to. And anything else? Any parting words you have?
Nope. Just thanks for joining us. We'll be back again next Wednesday. You know, and like I said, we just try to do a good job so everybody shows up on Wednesday nights. I would tell you that I've looked at other chats, and I don't think they're nearly as popular as this one. But you know, I don't know why that is. I don't know. Maybe because we're just great.
Yeah, and like I said, we didn't mean to go off on the tangent this evening. You know, about the political situation, but you know, some people aren't aware of any of that stuff. So we just want to share. I wanted to share a little bit of it, see what the opinions were out there. Good or bad, and just kind of keep everybody informed. But we appreciate it so much. We will see y'all next Wednesday. If you have any comments, leave them. Y'all have a great night.
See you guys.
Carry on, guys.